Welcome to the PowerPoint lecture, The Sentence. We're going to examine and compare simple, compound, and complex sentences. I'm Margaret Students. If you've already seen the PowerPoint lecture, Phrases and Clauses, you know that a sentence has to have all of these following elements to be a sentence. Has to have a group of words or be a group of words. It has to contain a subject and a predicate. Has to begin with a capital letter. Has to end in closing punctuation. And most important, it has to make a complete thought. Yes, all of these elements have to be in place for a group of words to be called a sentence. We have three types of sentences, as I mentioned at the beginning of the lecture. We're going to begin simply with the simple sentence. A simple sentence contains one set, and set is very important here, one set of subjects and verbs. The subject is what the sentence is about. You could say the topic almost. The predicate is what the sentence is saying about the subject. It's going to tell what the subject is doing, or it's going to tell what the subject is. We've previously discussed independent clauses, and we know that independent or main clauses are groups of words that contain a subject and a verb and make a complete thought. Well, a simple sentence is an independent clause. However, while an independent or main clause may be a part of a sentence and not begin with a capital and end in closing punctuation, a simple sentence does. That's what makes it a sentence. It begins with a capital letter and ends in closing punctuation, makes a complete thought. Simple sentences can contain multiple subjects and verbs. And that's why I said I want you to pay close attention to the word set, and I'll show you this in just a minute. Simple refers to the construction of the sentence, not how long it is. A simple sentence can be very long or very brief, as you see here. We have a one-word sentence, run, and we have a very long one, I worried about the terrible storm in the Gulf of Mexico. That's very long, but it's still a simple sentence. Why? It has one subject and one predicate. Here are some examples of simple sentences. Will ate the banana. Simple sentence. Will and Neva watch the movie. Another simple sentence, but we have multiple subjects in this sentence. We have Neva sings and dances. Another simple sentence, but we have multiple verbs. And in the last sentence, we have Will and Neva watch TV and eat supper. We have multiple subjects and multiple verbs, but we don't have two sets. We have one set of subjects, that's Will and Neva, and one set of verbs, watch and eat. While simple sentences have one subject and predicate, one set of subjects and predicates, compound sentences have two sets of subjects and predicates. That happens because two independent clauses have been joined together. We join them in two ways. We can join them using a comma and a conjunction, a coordinating conjunction specifically, or we can join them with a semicolon. I'll show you some of those coordinating conjunctions in the next slide. We've seen these coordinating conjunctions in a previous lecture. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. We can remember them pretty easily by just remembering this acronym, fanboys. These coordinating conjunctions separate complete thoughts in compound sentences, but we always have to precede them with a comma. Here are some examples of compound sentences, and you can see that in each case we have two sets of independent clauses, two sets of subjects and predicates. Bill walked outside and he fell on the ice. And we have these separated by a coordinating conjunction preceded by a comma. We know it's one sentence because here's the beginning capitalization, here's the closing punctuation. Here's another example of a compound sentence. Audrey and Katie ate, but Gary slept. We have two sets of subjects and verbs. In the first set, though, we have two subjects. That's all right. That still makes it one set. Audrey and Katie, and the one verb ate. Over here, another set. Gary slept. In our third example, we have two independent clauses, but this time I have them separated by a semicolon. A semicolon is just as correct as having a comma and a coordinating conjunction. There's no difference. It's just choice. Like compound sentences, complex sentences has more than one clause in a particular sentence. However, in a complex sentence, we only have one clause that makes a complete thought, and that's the independent or main clause. We will have a subordinate clause, but remember, subordinate or dependent clauses begin with a subordinating conjunction, and these types of clauses do a job in the sentence. What job will they do? They're going to do jobs like that of the adjective, adverb, or noun. So we've got this whole group of words that has a subject and a verb within the word group, but it doesn't make a complete thought. Instead, it's doing a job in the sentence. Now, I'll tell you that students have sometimes a hard time wrapping their brains around this, that we have groups of words that act like one thing, but that's exactly what subordinate or dependent clauses do. Just as prepositional phrases do, and just as infinitive phrases do, we have a group of words doing the job of one word. Here are the same sentences I showed you in the phrases and clauses lecture when I was talking about subordinate clauses. In each of these sentences we have subordinate clauses, and they do very different jobs in each case. Each one of these sentences, though, has a main clause, and that serves as the anchor. How do we know, or how can we recognize the main clause? Well, it's going to have a subject, and it's going to have a predicate, and it's going to make a complete thought. I'm going to read these to you. I was very tall. Makes a complete thought. You can hear it. I lost my tooth. Makes a complete thought. You can hear it. We're going to have to jump around here. The woman is sitting at the next table. That makes a complete thought. You can hear it. And finally, Cruella is very ugly. That makes a complete thought. You can hear it. We can also hear the incompleteness of the dependent or subordinate clauses. When I was young, you should be going, what? Because I fell down the steps, you should be going, what? Who works for the IRS? Again, you should be saying, what? Although she is nice, you should be saying, what? So these guys are all doing specific jobs in the sentence and cannot stand alone as complete thoughts. But when combined with the anchor, that main clause, and punctuated correctly, we have complex sentences. There's the capital letter W. There's our closing punctuation. Here's our beginning capital letter here. There's our closing punctuation. Beginning capital, closing punctuation. Beginning capital letter, closing punctuation. It's very consistent. To conclude, you need to know that sentences can be simple, compound, or complex. We can have multiple subjects, multiple verbs. If we have compound sentences, they have to be separated by commas and conjunctions or semicolons. And if we have sentences containing dependent or subordinate clauses, we have to have a main clause as the anchor. I hope this helps as you identify different types of